Well, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in to KT Garage. This is part 2 of the Fox Body Mustang restoration project. It's a beautiful day today in Texas. It's going to be in the mid 80s. Beautiful day. So I decided to take this Mustang out and start doing the body work, prep it for paint. And that's pretty much the only thing left on this car, just to get fresh coat of paint on it and do some touch up on the interior, and I'm done with the project. I really look forward to get that done within the next few weeks. So today's plan is, well, let's talk about the hood. So on the last video, you didn't see the hood. So I got this hood on yesterday and got it all aligned. I have a video on the alignment, so you can check that out if you're working on the hood. So I get that on. Gaps are looking perfect, so I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. And for right now, I'm just gonna prep it for paint. There's quite a few things that you need to be aware when you're prepping for paint. Just make sure that you prep it correctly. The preparation is very important for painting. You don't get it prepped properly, you're not gonna get the good paint coat, and your car is not gonna look good. So I'm gonna go through all of that with you. Well guys, on the last video I left out quite a few things and I want to touch up on it before we moved on. So another common problem with the Fox Body is that these roof rails, and they do look pretty bad, and you know you gotta replace them when you put on a new paint job, or at least you need to take them out and you sand everything, then put the trim back on. If you try to paint with the trim on, it's never gonna look right. So this roof rail trims are, you know, if it's the original one that's been in here for many years, it's gonna get real messy, and you can see that, you know, there's some of these really sticky stuff that's left on here, and it took me a while to clean that out. So to get it out is super simple. You just I believe there's one screw. Yeah, you can see there's one screw here. You take the screw out and you just pull it down, and it's just all gonna come down. Make sure you don't break this taps over here that came from the window. So definitely need to take this out before painting. So that's part of paint prep. Now another thing to be consider is your roof, and you know, these goes bad on every single Mustang. When it gets old, the liner, this material right here is going to drop down and it's going to look bad. So definitely need to look into replacing these. Bought this from LMR Mustangs. They sell them for probably $400 or something like that. I bought it in a while, forgot what the price was. It's not too bad. It's all one piece and you need to get it replaced. It's part of restoration. You can't just leave the original one in there. It looks bad and it's very dusty. Things keep falling on you. And then these are also bottom reproduction. It's cost like $100 for each piece. So while I was restoring the roof, I restored these. I got the new light, the spotlight as well. So all of these, they make reproduction, and it helps to make your vehicle look nice and clean. So as you can see, all the most of the interior already been done. It's looking really good. Just need to focus on the outside. Now I want to go over one thing with you guys as part of the preparation process. You're gonna have to take the door handles out, take the lock out. You try to cover it with tape and try to paint over it. Not gonna look good. You're never gonna get it right. So like this one guy here, when he painted originally, he left it on, paint right on top the lock, which is a terrible thing to do. This is stainless steel and shouldn't be painted on. If you're trying to put a piece of tape on it and paint it and take the tape off, it's never gonna look right because you can't prep the paint properly. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these. I'll show you guys how to remove these handles. They're super easy to remove and put back. So in order to remove the door handles and the lock, of course you got to take the inner panel out you gotta take them out anyway as part of the paint preparation, and you gotta raise your window all the way up to get access to them. And as you can see in here, there's 2 rivets. There's one here and one there. You gotta drill those out from the outside. And then the linkage, this linkage right here is attached to the top there, and they can easily be removed. I'll show you how to do that. And then let's see, for the lock, there's a linkage that's right here. You just need to pull this tab out and then move this linkage away from the lock. You just pull them out and it'll come right out. So that's pretty much it to get it out. And then there's a tab on the outside. This is what retaining the lock. So you just gotta get a grow bar and then just make sure that this get pushed out, and then you pry from the back and it'll come right out. All right, so let's work on the handle first. You can see that this is the linkage I was talking about from the top, and if you trace it, there's a little tab up there. It's already broken because it's too old, but you gotta take those tab out, and then you trace it down, and down here there's another. This is the end of the linkage on the other side, and that's a little tab here. It's still here, so you gotta pop it out. You see here, yeah, you just get this out of the way, and then you pull this linkage towards me or towards the camera, and then that way you can get that linkage to come down to relieve it from the top. So I'm gonna have to put the camera down to get that done. And this is what the linkage look like. You can see that this yellow tab, it's just designed to hold it with a little tab back here. And as soon as you pop it out, out of the tab's supposed to go on the other side. Pop that out, and then you pull this whole thing. Then from the top, just drop right down. You take it out. So that's how you get the linkage out. So to get the handle out, I'm gonna have to drill these 2 rivets right here. I found a little bit better way to deal with this. So on the first rivet, I started to drill the steel core out first, which is quite difficult to get it drilled out. On the second one, I just try to use the punch, just to punch out the steel core first, and it came right out. So for you guys, it's best probably just to use a punch and to get the steel core to come out of it. Now you just left with the aluminum rivet, which is a lot easier to drill out. I'm just gonna like enlarging this hole, and then the rivet should be able to come right out. Do the same on this side. I'm going to start working on a lock latch mechanism of the linkage actually. And with this linkage, you just push it forward, get it out of the way, so you can pull the rod out. And you can see the rod comes right out, just like that. And now the linkage is completely disengaged from the lock. All you need to do is just get this piece out here to come out, and then the lock will fall right out. Okay, so the idea is to get this piece to go forward first, or just get it away from the door before you can push it out. And then as you get your screwdriver in there, just get a crowbar and then just pull it out. You see how simple that is? And you keep pulling, this come out, and this is what really retaining a lock. And so at this point, I should be able to come over, pull the lock out from that side. Here you go, guys. Well, for the rear lock, it's a very similar procedure. So under here, that's gonna be another one of those latch. And the only thing different is this one, it actually has a rivet that you have to drill a rivet out. That rivet is kind of retain the retainer just so it doesn't fall off. So after you drill that out, you just use a crowbar and you pry that little retainer out, and once that comes out, you can go ahead and pull the lock out. It comes straight out. It's got another extension like about that far in that sticks into where it actually operates the lock and unlock. So it really simple and straightforward. Well, let's talk about the paint for a little bit. Now you gotta decide whether it's gonna be a driver quality or you want a show quality. And the difference is in the time that you're gonna spend on paint job and the paint that you're gonna buy, the type of paint. And for this particular vehicle, I want it to be a driver quality because I'm gonna be driving it not daily, but I'm gonna be driving it a lot. It's not gonna be a garage queen. It's not gonna be a show vehicle. This one, I wanna enjoy driving it. So I'm not going to invest a whole lot of time doing the prep work. You still got to do the proper prep work, but I'm not going to spend months trying to do the prep. I'm just going to do a good enough job to have a nice looking paint job, but it's not going to take me all that bunch of time because I'm on a time crunch for getting this project done so I can move on to my Humvee and Warthog project. That's what I really want to work on. So, but I do really want to wrap up this project so I can start driving it and having fun with it. I've been waiting to drive one of these for a while. So you know, be mindful when I show you the prep work because this is not a show quality. I just want to paint to look decent for me to just drive it around. All right, so here's the prep work, and I decided not to put the high build primer on this primer that comes from Dynacorn because this primer is good enough for me to put base and clear on. And once I put the high build primer, I'm gonna have to sand that down, and it's gonna take me a bunch of time. So I'm gonna just go ahead and paint the bumper only. I'm gonna leave this out. It's okay if I have a little bit of overspray because I have to scrub that down before I paint anyway. But I want to keep most of the overspray out of it. So I don't have to spend that much time on it to do the detail work. Now I wrap everything up already, get ready for paint, and as you can see, if this is a show vehicle, I will have to strip all the paint down to bare metal and then build it from there. But since this is a driver quality, I'm just gonna take care of the problem area, and then I'm just gonna spray probably 3-4 coats of high build primer, and then I'm just gonna block sand it down and make it look good. You shouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you really look for some imperfections. So it's good for driver quality because I don't want to spend all that time prepping for it. But the problem area, I do have to sand it all of that down and get rid of the rust before I paint it. So I decided to paint the door jambs and the exterior all at the same time to save time. To do it properly, you gotta do the interior first, like the door jamb first, and then do exterior. I'm gonna do them both at the same time. So I'm just gonna spray all the inside, and then I'll go ahead and close the door and start spraying the outside. So that saved me a lot of time. And you can see I already block sand everything down, good enough to throw the first primer coat on, and well, not the first coat, maybe 3 or 4 coat, and then we'll see. You know, I might have to go in and block sand again, but let's just throw the primer on the high build primer and see how it goes. Now there's some minor rust spot here. I did the rust repair, but there's some pittings, so I went ahead and throw in this self edging primer. Is really cool. You throw that on, it's got a little bit of acid to react with the rust, and it's kind of encapsulate the rust. And I'm just going to put the high build primer on top. So back here I decided to do the same thing, so I'm just going to paint all of this all at once. So I already taped the to separate the interior from exterior, so when I can go ahead and spray paint all of this. So high build primer is going to go on here, high build primer is going to go up here. Everything's taped off already, and then when I'm done with that, I just shut the lid and spray the exterior. So as you can see, I still have to wrap the wheels. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the painting in the morning where the dust is settled around 8 o'clock or something like that. I'm gonna start the primer paint. But right now I'm just gonna do all the prep work. So on this side I did the same thing. So I did have to spray some of those self edging primer there because there's a little bit of rust there. After I treat it, I just spray that on. And same thing here, I'm going to spray the door jambs, and I'm going to go ahead and close the door, or maybe leave it partially open like that and start spraying the exterior. And you can see again, I didn't fully sand the whole thing down to save time. Throw high build primer on, block sand it, and call it good. Same thing up here. There's some problem areas, so sand that down, rust treat it, get rid of all the rust, and then kind of just make a transition in high build primer, block sand, and we're done. So you can see the wrapping job is not looking too well here because I'm just using scrap pieces. So the windshield cracked pretty badly, so all I need to do is just like block the overspray so I can see myself driving from here into the garage while the restoration is done. And then when this is finished, we're going to replace the windshield anyway. So there you go, guys. So tomorrow morning I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the primer. Now there's some pieces here that for the rest of the afternoon I'm gonna have to block sand it down, get it prepped for paint. Those are all the separate pieces. You can see the fuel doors right there. I have to take that out, paint it separately. And then I have the spoiler that's sitting in here. This afternoon I still have to go ahead and prep this. I'm just gonna block sand it down, or just scrub it down to a good enough finish to throw high build primer on. So yeah, I think we're almost there. It's gonna be real quick when the prep work is done. Painting is easy. It's just the prep work is where it takes the longest. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. In the morning I'm gonna start part 3 of this series of the restoration of the Mustang, and I'm gonna show you how the paint work is getting done. First I'm gonna do the primer and then base and clear, and my objective is trying to get all that done in one day so I can get that done. Tomorrow's Sunday. I need to wrap this up. I don't want to wait too long because during the week I got a full-time job, so I really can't work on these. These need to be done by tomorrow afternoon. So I'll do the part 3 tomorrow. Please be sure to catch it and see how the paint turns out. Thanks for tuning to KT Garage. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.